This is not another XRP rumor. This is official. Ripple Labs, they confirmed that they are leading a $1 billion XRP buyback. Yes, that's right. And if you don't understand what that actually means, you know we're staring down one of the biggest crypto moves of the decade. Because this isn't just going to be a pump. This is a strategic accumulation by one of the most powerful blockchain companies on earth. Let that sink in for a second. But here's where it gets wild, because this buyback, it lines up exactly with a global financial rotation that no one's talking about. The US is quietly shifting from gold to Bitcoin, and the timing couldn't be more perfect for XRP to become that next strategic play. In today's video, I'm going to show you the conspiracy that is unfolding right in front of your very eyes, behind the scenes that connects gold, Bitcoin, and XRP, how the government, big banks, and even influencers like Mr. Beast are all signaling a new crypto super cycle. And most importantly, what Ripple's $1 billion buyback really means for your bags. So strap in, folks. It's not financial advice. This is the financial awakening, and let's get into it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up. The more likes we get on this video, the more YouTube is gonna push it out. And you know what? It's free to hit that thumbs up button. Go ahead, let's get that done. And we're gonna start with this. Here's the conspiracy theory on all this. And I want you to tell me if this doesn't sound familiar. The US has pumped gold to record highs, only to offload that gold at peak prices. Meanwhile, quietly in the background, they are accumulating Bitcoin while suppressing the price. You see the chart. Think about it. When institutions want something cheap, what do? They manufacture fear. Headlines push narratives like the Bitcoin crash, crypto winter, regulatory uncertainty, while your over-the-counter desk and your sovereign funds are quietly scooping up the bottom. Once they load it up, what are they going to do? They'll crash gold. They'll wreck every country that was holding gold as a safe haven collateral. And then boom, they send Bitcoin to the moon, resetting global liquidity in a digital form. And who stands to benefit when the system shifts from physical to digital? XRP and Ripple. Because XRP, remember, it's not competing against Bitcoin. It is complementing Bitcoin. It's the bridge asset between the new digital standard and the global banking system. This is the setup before the storm, which leads us over to this. President Trump's Bitcoin endorsement. That's right. We have President Trump right here. And we're going to rewind it. Don't you worry. We're going to crack up the volume. He says, you see something that's interesting, I can live with it. He's talking about Bitcoin, acknowledging that people want to pay with it. Now, this is absolutely massive. The same guy who once called Bitcoin a scam is now your president, and he is embracing digital assets. I want you to listen to this.
Isn't the next logical step for you to embrace Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin obviously is decentralized. The government can't get its hands on it. What about Bitcoin with all the young people, including African Americans, who are very interested in it?
Well, a lot of people are doing it. I always liked one currency. I call it a currency. I like the dollar. But a lot of people are doing it. And frankly, it's taken a life of its own. You probably have to do some regulation, as you know. But many people are embracing it. And more I'm seeing people wanting to pay Bitcoin. And you're seeing something that's interesting. So I can live with it one way or the other. I've always liked one really powerful thing, and that's called the dollar.
Yeah. This means one thing. Regulatory acceptance is coming. And with regulations, that comes institutional money. We're watching a complete 180-degree shift from rejection to recognition. And it's all happening as Ripple gears up for the largest strategic buyback that we have ever seen. And guess what else we got? We got the IMF conference right here. This is Umar Faruk. He is the co-head of global payments at a little bank you might have heard of, Morgan. He literally said, when we looked at DLT 10 plus years ago, we saw a technology that could disrupt JP Morgan. They know what's coming. The very system they built, SWIFT, correspondent banking, T+2 settlements, it's all outdated. Now they are integrating digital DLT, distributed ledger technology, blockchain tech, the same tech that Ripple has been mastering since 2012. Listen up.
Almost zero cost electronic economy in each of these countries. So innovation is happening all the time. And in our mind, I think all that basically shows us is when we looked at DLT 10 plus years ago, this is when Ethereum came about, we looked at it as a technology that could potentially disrupt JP Morgan, not just from a payments point of view, but from a securities point of view. The number of companies who were leading in their space and then they went extinct in 20 years is quite high over history. So we wanted to make sure we were ahead of the cycle. We basically started to build our own solutions at that point in terms of payments. Now, in our mind, stable coins, commercial bank money, central bank money, all these things will coexist.
Yep.
In reality, things coexist. Even if you're sitting in the US, PayPal coexists with banks who coexist with the Fed. In Singapore, Grab coexists with DBS, which coexists with MAS. Like these things just coexist and work with each other. You know, you can decide if one thing is going to be 5% of payments and one thing is going to be 25% of payments, but these things will coexist and they will form an ecosystem. Certain things, as has been said already by most of the panel, are done potentially better with stable coins. For instance, today, if you want to actually trade on crypto rails, there is no better means than a stable coin. And I would argue that Jeremy and Jeremy's team run probably one of the most controlled, most compliant stablecoins that exist today. Similarly, if you are talking about store of value outside the US, stablecoins are probably an easier way to go than anything else. Retail, it's fruitful for disruption, especially end-to-end global money movement, though it remains to be seen what the reaction on the KYC front will be. And Ajay's point, like, can you actually use the stablecoin on the other end? Would central banks want to get dollarized? I mean, there's a lot of questions that come in. On the wholesale side too, there's interest, but I think we feel that our clients, and we serve basically pretty much everyone in the Fortune 20 and most of them Fortune 50, they want to use the upsides, the stuff that Jeremy mentioned in terms of programmability, always on, 24/7, no cutoffs. They're not actually concerned about whether they use stablecoin or commercial bank money or whatever. Whoever provides them the right solution, they will use it. And really,
whoever provides them the right solution, they will use it. This is what I call silent capitulation. The banks, they're not fighting crypto anymore. They are preparing to merge with it. And then we get this, Raul Paul is out there, the macro legend himself. He's going public right here saying that Bitcoin is about to explode. When Paul talks, hedge funds listen. He's been early on every macro cycle since 2008. Let that sink in. And he's basically calling the next move a repricing event. We're not talking about a small rally here, everyone. We're talking about Bitcoin breaking through the entire market structure. And when Bitcoin moves, XRP follows, right? Because institutional flow, it rotates into altcoins once Bitcoin dominance, once it peaks. Listen to what Rule got to say.
In the early phase of phase two, this is not a phase two correction. We've barely broken out. In fact, most other assets, thinking about stuff like total market cap, X, Bitcoin and ETH, haven't yet broken. Now think of the banana zone here. All of these previous three were all only one period wide. This 1 year. This one will be wider. So which is why the market looks less parabolic at this stage. But the parabola will occur, and Julian showed you with that work earlier, and we will have a phase two correction.
It's coming, folks. Get ready and strap it in. Hold up a second. Did you see this? The US government is shut down, but there's reports going around that a Solana spot ETF just got approved. You're telling me we can't fund the government, but we can approve crypto ETFs? Is that by coincidence? I don't think so. Sounds more like coordination if you ask me. It's almost like they're setting the stage for the XRP ETF approvals to slide right through when no one's actually paying attention. Because if Ripple's buyback narrative aligns with an XRP ETF approval, that right there, that's going to be your liftoff moment. We could see XRP's first real institutional grade product, and that's what triggers the reevaluation. And let me get this, markets are now pricing in a 100% chance of a rate cut this month. If the Fed goes further, if it ends quantitative tightening, that's basically a green light for your risk assets to explode. Crypto, that's your risk asset. Liquidity floods back in, stocks, bonds, altcoins, they all rally. Because when new liquidity meets forced supply removal, that's how these parabolic moves are born. And we come up to this because let's talk about adoption for a second. You see that man on your screen? That's Mr. Beast. He's the most followed YouTuber on earth with 445 million subs. He just filed trademarks for Mr. Beast Financial. He's launching, check this out, mobile banking, crypto services, lending, the works. Let that sink in. 500 million people are about to be exposed to crypto through Mr. Beast. This isn't some random influencer out there trying to pump his bags. This is mainstream integration at scale. We're entering a world where your favorite creators, your favorite brands, and your favorite banks, they're all tied into blockchain infrastructure. And guess who's powering a lot of that behind the scenes? Well, if you guessed Ripple, you guessed correct. And then we get this, Charles Schwab, who manages over $12 trillion, just went live on CNBC saying investors' interest in Bitcoin is exploding. Listen.
So in crypto, we do offer crypto ETFs, Bitcoin futures, closed-end funds. In fact, our clients own 20% of all the crypto exchange-traded products in our country. So they've been very active. We've seen visits to our crypto site go up 90% in the last year. It's a topic that's of high engagement. And for privates, we have made private investments available to our clients. We've done through third-party managers like KKR and Apollo and folks like that. And we've also stood up a team of alternative experts. If you want to invest in alternatives at Schwab, you're going to need to talk to a professional and make sure they're right for you and to make sure you find the right strategy for you.
Look, when legacy giants start openly endorsing Bitcoin, that's game over right there. That means that the tide has turned. The money managers, your pension funds, and private wealth, they are all moving in. And remember, these are the same players who want exposure to utility-based assets next. That's XRP's lane. And we move over to this because Ripple just hit 1,000 clients, including G Treasury, their latest acquisition, one of the biggest corporate liquidity platforms in the world. Think about that. 1,000 plus enterprise partners using Ripple's tech for cross-border settlements, for liquidity management, and now potentially tokenized assets. This isn't a startup anymore. This is infrastructure, folks. And then we move to this. The moment we have all been building towards. Ripple officially confirmed that they're leading an effort to raise at least $1 billion to purchase XRP directly. We covered this in the last video. If you didn't watch it, go watch it. This isn't speculation. We call this a liquidity consolidation move. They're tightening the circulating supply. They are strengthening the balance sheets, and they are signaling absolute confidence in XRP's long-term value. They're literally doing what central banks do with gold, but they're doing it with XRP. Let that sink in. When retail traders panic over a 5% dip, Ripple's out there, they're buying the dip with $1 billion. So here's your big picture. The US is rotating from gold to Bitcoin. Institutions are pivoting to blockchain. Influencers are onboarding millions, and Ripple, the company behind the most efficient bridge asset in the world, they are buying back their own token for $1 billion. Now, you don't do that unless you know what is coming. We are on the verge of a complete monetary transition from gold to Bitcoin to XRP as global liquidity glue. If you're not positioned yet, this is your wake-up call. So smash that like, drop a comment down below if you're holding XRP, and hit subscribe, because this next phase, it's going to move fast. And remember, while the world is out there panicking, the insiders, they accumulate. Stay ready, my friends. Stay bullish. And guess what? I'll see you in the next one.